Morning. Morning, everybody. I hope you are well. Let me know if I'm coming through okay before I get started. Morning, Mira. Morning, Ash. Morning, James. Morning, Martin. Morning, Dale. Morning, Silver. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Let me know what you got up to. Martin, how was Paddy's Day? I bet it was a bit crazy in Vegas, right? I can just imagine. I had a very, very quiet weekend. Pretty much lazing around all weekend, to be honest with you. Madness, yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Pretty fun though, must be. Good tips, right? Good tips for a bartender on Paddy's Day, probably. Right, before I get, I'll just let you type, Martin, before I get into it. I'll just let you type. Okay, I'll let you type, Martin, and I'll just start it. So I want to talk firstly about this USD ZAR. So as I said in my message on the channel, the trades and analysis channel, I did take a USD ZAR, but I didn't put a trade out because I'm not taking it on my real account. But I was looking at this extensively on Friday night. I was actually being quite rude. I was out for dinner, and Megan was like, "Get off your phone." But I was looking at this. Obviously, from a daily and weekly perspective, right? I like this. I love where it is, right? We've broken through our support zone here. We have our head and shoulders on the daily. 20 period is there. We are on a downtrend. This is obviously great. You know, we look at the weekly. Again, from a weekly perspective, we have crossed underneath this 200. If we zoom out a little bit, it looks to be impulse, or I say impulse, but downtrending environment. Larger term corrective, possibly our ABC, and we are breaking through this area here, retested it for continuation to the downside, right? That all looks brilliant. I think we can all agree that all looks brilliant. However, the problem I had, as I talked about last week, was the break underneath these lows. But what I was thinking on Friday night was that, okay, can we not consider this a move to the downside, i.e. this whole price action is encompassing our break, which means our movement back. And I saw it on this particular candle. So I looked at it and I thought, well, is this our steady state retest back to the area? Okay, and we've got our outside bullish engulfing coming on high volume as our catalyst basically at that zone. So again, it wasn't good enough for me to take on my real account. However, on this verification, I just kind of liked everything about it. So I said, you know what? Okay, I'm happy to go in short on USD ZAR considering all other factors. So that's my USD ZAR trade. I am still looking at on this daily. So we are still looking at a daily breakout retest. Again, 100% I would take that if I do get it back to, it looks like to be in a steady state area. 20 period catch up, catalyst to go short. I mean, it's all great. It's all really nice. And let's see what it does. It does seem to be, again, in this corrective phase. My stop is up here. The spread ain't great, but you know, I've accounted for that with my stop. I probably will reduce my risk. I don't want to lose more than 3K on this, which if I do, for example, if I do that, I'll be down to 188, which means I've basically got 2 trades on my 2% to try and get this account essentially. So, you know, there was just enough there. There was just enough there for me to take it, and I still like it. You know, I still like it. We are obviously getting some reaction on smaller time frames. The issue is, are we not ready, and are we going to retest on this daily? In which case, okay. You know, this like I said last week, there's times where I'm going to need to take some kind of risk here because of how the markets are shaping up. And it doesn't look at the moment like that's going to change this week. But in terms of trading opportunities, I just couldn't say no to that because I would be more annoyed if it went down and I wasn't part of it than if it went up and hit my stop or whatever. St. Patrick's and March Madness. Great tips. Healing money to save and put away is already done. Funding the RAs. Excellent. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff, mate. Right. Let's. So as I said, in terms of the trade, I tell you, I'm not in this trade on my real account, but I am in this on my challenge. So That's just a disclaimer on that. I will not put it as part of my signal performance, but it is on this verification. Okay, SPX today, we've had a decent push up to this 200 on the daily. Now, this looks good. Weekly bars, obviously a great bar here, coming on lowering volume, but we do expect that in comparison to what we had before, comparing it to obviously the initial reaction from the Russia-Ukraine tensions. However, this is good. You know, as I said, I did put some money into the indexes here a few weeks ago. I'm a bit more comfortable with that that position, even though it's a long-term position. It doesn't really matter what happens right now. But broken this 4-hour anchor, broken the daily anchor. We are roughly around this 200, which we do expect a reaction from. But as I said, we have broken this downtrending anchor, which is a good sign. What we have to know and what we have to be aware of is we have had a good 4 or 5 days of bullish price action. If this was a currency pair, we obviously wouldn't want to go long here, but indexes do move quite differently from our currency pairs. So I wouldn't be worried right now. I would look for possibly a retest. This can continue in this fashion. Certainly if things happen with those tensions in Russia, Ukraine, I believe. I mean, Amira, you'll know a bit more than me from what I read this morning. Talks are still ongoing. And hopefully a ceasefire does come about at some point soon. So, yeah, markets are looking good. And if we do get that positive news, this will absolutely motor. You know, I do think that this will absolutely motor. And from a longer term standpoint and from a trading standpoint, will look very good. We've got that certainty with what the Fed's doing with inflation. We'll hopefully have that certainty with what's happening in Russia and Ukraine. Markets like that. And that's when we see fluidity. That's when we see movement. So let's see. But in terms of risk analysis, yeah, it's certainly risk on from a longer term perspective. Just watch for a slight pullback. Watch for a slight pullback. Morning, Audrey. Morning, John, mate. I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're well. Dollar. The dollar. What is the dollar doing? It still does look weakish. I don't like this price action, as I said on Friday. Yes, it could be a corrective, but it certainly is not a nice one. 4-hour perspective, for me, you know, we've had a nice rejection off that 20 from this Marabuzzo candle. Certainly a bit, not climactic, but bullish pressure on that 4-hour. But from here, if we take recent price action, I would be inclined to look at this. In which case, you know, we could get a setup here. Potentially, this is not an aggressive entry, not quite enough digestion for me from this move to the downside. But, you know, if we look at it on smaller time frames, I mean, it looks a little bit like a head and shoulders there, right? Breaking out now. Here. Here's your V reversal as well. You're kind of hugging that trend line there, I guess, or hugging the channel it wants to kind of continue in basically here. Breaking out of it now. So bias for the dollar for me personally would be to the downside. I know we're still in an uptrending environment. I know we're back to that 20. For me, this price action on Friday seems more like reactionary support roughly from there rather than a real kind of bullish push in this dollar. Anything can happen on London Open. It's a new week. But at the moment, it does look pretty shorty. So, yeah, I think that would be me. That would be my bias for dollar, is potentially something like this. And if we do get it, yeah, like I said, it could be a potential trade depending on what that 200 does. So SPX, maybe retest, but certainly risk on. Dollar bias for me would be to the downside. But I've been wrong quite a few times the last few weeks. We know markets are still quite difficult, but that would be my personal bias. Okay, watch this today. I've done Usdzar. We have potentially USD SEK shorts. USD SEK, a pair I do like. If we look at the daily here, as with the DXY, it looks less of like this is going to continue. More of a V reversal to the downside. 20 period is now starting to curl over. So there's our higher time frame confluence. Excuse me. I am not answering that. Weekly, again, here's our confluence with a weekly. Certainly an evening star. Push up, very good weekly bar last week to the downside on USD SEC. 4 hour is good. We are underneath this 20. We are underneath the 200. We're getting a period here of consolidation through time rather than through price. But quite a healthy trending 4 hour market there. You know, here, again, not extended. It's not exhaustive. It looks pretty good. So what I'm looking at here on the hourly chart is our essentially cut with handle, or let me zoom in so you can see it a bit better. Cut with handle, or you want to call this a V reversal. Either way, squeezing into the area. I want this to move now. You know, certainly today for a breakout, retest, move to the downside. So USD SEC is one I like. It's one that I like. USD SEC potential shorts if we get the setup. EuroCAD. EuroCAD. EuroCAD is, I've put this in. It's not quite ready yet. Obviously from our 30 to 50% digestion rule. I just really like where it is. So where is it? Silver, don't answer this. Why do I like where it is? Let's see if a newer member can answer this. Why do I like this area for a break to the downside? Who's here that's newer? That I understand you, the newer guys may not know, but I know Silver, you'll know. This is a question for everybody else apart from Silver. Why do I like that area? Think about what we talked about last week. Anybody? No? Go on, Silver. Silver, tell them. Yep, thank you. B-wave. AB potential shallow C here. We've got a tag of the area there. We are in this digestion phase. If we come back up, that'll be okay. It looks as if we may be accumulating here, which is okay. Remember, that's okay. Accumulation is fine underneath that area as long as we get our anchor to put that stop loss for a risk reward. But I do need that 30 to 50%. So we're looking at something like this before I can place my order to the downside, considering the range of this pattern. So just to break it down in case anybody doesn't understand that, I'm looking at this as 100%. Let's just put it very simply. We're looking at a digestion phase of something like this to this, 30 to 50% of this area once we tag here. So 30 to 50%, which is fine to digest this basing structure to take the break to the downside. So as I said, B-wave, if you don't understand, it'd be good to rewatch that stream from Friday, which is on YouTube or on the trades and analysis section. But going with this market, going with this trend is what we normally like to do. The 20 is catching up, move to the downside, and you can kind of see that squeeze in there. EuroCAD shorts is something I do like, possibly for what day? Monday, Tuesday, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, if we get the price action we like. And yeah, I do like that. I did think about it on the smaller time frames here, but we didn't quite get the tag we like that makes that pattern basically clean enough to take it for a potential break and retest. And finally, pound dollar. So pound dollar. So Omar's question was, and I'll get this here. Omar's question. And it's a very good question. Very good question. Hey, Ryan, on the stream, can you please talk about why on that GU trade, the 20 MA on the daily isn't an issue, even though it's getting in the way? Thanks. So good question. The thing is, with our counter trend moves, this is obviously a counter trend trade. We aren't always going to get everything that we want. So we've kind of got to have a little bit discretion for these counter trend moves. Yes, we've got the 20 on the daily. It is an issue. I'm not saying it's not an issue. It is an issue. But the fact that we've got this bar here and this price action look less of like a corrective at the moment, that's important to note, then a pullback gives me that confidence for this to move to the upside. We've confidence with the DXY. We've got confidence with the stock market. Okay, and at the moment, I'm expecting stock market up, dollar down. That has been the case post-COVID. I'm going to continue with that until it's not the case. So GU here, I like. You know, we did talk about this last week. We've got our head and shoulders here now. We have this rising 5 pattern from this move to the upside, which again, this rising patterns, whether it be 3, 4, 5, 6, essentially we're looking for an engulfing candle, candles in between, followed by an engulfing candle. Okay, and that's what we've got here. And notice that our Marabuzo, our outside engulfing, okay, is closing underneath that area. Normally, sometimes we get that digestive move inside these larger candles. So we're looking for a break up, which if we envision price action and what it's going to look like as this 20 comes up, it's still valid for me, okay? Price action will look pretty good, right? So that's the reason why I do like it. Again, we have our 50% digestion from this basing structure. We've got our head and shoulders. The premise of the head and shoulders is it's a trend change pattern, right? A TCP. So this is all good for me. If we do get something like, you know, another 20 catch up, possibly some price action that looks like this, then that's perfect. I'll move my stop up. I'll take the breakout from the same area, but I'll move my stop up and get a better risk reward on GU to the upside. So the question is valid. The 20 period is valid. If this was a 200, then absolutely not. The fact that we've got that daily 20 is enough for me to take it as a counter trend move. So good question. Again, you've got to have a little bit of your gut instinct going with it. And for me, because of what we're seeing on the 4 hour, my gut is telling me I like it. And I always go with I don't always go. I should always go with what my gut tells me to do. So that's why. But as I said, if this was trending move, we wouldn't do that, but it's counter trend. So you're not going to get everything you want. But great question. Okay, what else? Was that it? I think that's it, actually. Pound USD, I've done. Euro CAD, I've done. USDZAR, USD SEC. So let's see what you guys are talking about. So, Dill, this is your auto chartist. I haven't had a look at this, mate, yet. I will have a look at it. But I guess it's... You're finding out key levels. Yeah, just a word with this, Dill. Like, I know you're trying to figure out what strategy, what things you like. I understand that. But for me, looking at this chart right off the bat, I'm thinking, wow, what is going on here? And I understand what you're saying, but I couldn't look at this. I couldn't make sense of any of this. Sometimes you get what they call analysis paralysis. So that's why I always like to keep my charts nice and clean. But I understand why. I understand you're trying to figure out. But I do think cleaner, just in terms of cleaning the mind and looking at a chart like this, you know, for me, just looks a lot nicer, right? Easier. You know, volume, 2 moving averages. I used to have all that stuff on my chart. I used to have everything. MACD, RSI. I played around with Heiken and Ashi for a while. Bollinger Bands. And I'm not saying none of that stuff can work. Absolutely they can in the right environment with an edge that has been back tested. But for me, looking at a chart like this, just easier on the eyes, personally. Okay, Danica, sorry, Aaron, GU pre-breakout to the upside. Yeah, so I'll go through this, and then I'll go through ETH Martin. So possible winners, although I do think they've traced a bit more, it's better. Yeah, so with this is Nick. I know you're not here. Are you here? No. This is fine. Like, I don't, in terms of what Aaron's, like, I'm mentoring Aaron personally right now. So in terms of what Aaron's looking at, if this happens, okay, then he won't take the trade. I know that, for example. And I understand what you're looking at here. So in terms of Aaron, he's looking for an aggressive entry. So if we break underneath this candle, firstly, for us, we take this breakout trade out. It's not valid. But he's looking at that aggressive entry. So he's looking at the third structure. So we've got one structure. One structure here. We've got second structure here. And he's looking for that aggressive entry on this third structure. So that aggressive catalyst being our hammer, Morningstar, engulfer, whatever it is, on increasing volume to take that trade to the upside. So that's what Aaron's looking for. And I think it's a good idea. Certainly with pound. Like, pound gets momentum. It can really go. Ethereum cup with handle to the downside. Let's have a look at the crypto market, actually. I think Bitcoin was in a little bit of no man's land at the moment. What's it going to do? I'm not entirely sure. We're still within this resistance zone. Our potential settle in Bitcoin obviously has gone. Getting a reaction here. There could be something there for a long on Bitcoin. Daily perspective. Have we broken these highs? Let's see. So the highs here was 42581. High here, 42389. So we've not broken the highs in here. It could go. I mean, it could go either way, couldn't it? Bitcoin could go either way right now. Rather wait for confirmation. Maybe a break under here would be decent for Bitcoin because it has not broken those highs. So Ethereum, you're looking at cup with handle on what time frame? 1 hour. Okay. Not quite yet for me, Martin. You know, if you're looking at this area where we're wanting to tag that area, I know you're looking at from here, but for me personally with a cup with handle, because we've broken through this section, okay, minimum I would look at was here, but the reason why, because notice as we break through, we've kind of come down here. So this makes this area more valid than this one, okay, because we've broken through with pretty much ease during this touch. So for a key area to break out and retest from, I would be looking down there. Does that make sense? I mean, you could be in your ABC here now, and it does potentially look good for movement to the downside. But in terms of my cup with handle and the kind of theoretical premise behind it, it would have to be from that area. Just worry about this movement on the 4 hour. You know, here I don't particularly like the pullback. This is what I mean. Crypto is giving us mixed messages. It's giving us mixed messages right now on where it's going. But ultimately, we look at it from a daily perspective, which I think we probably have to right now. Yes, we're still in a downtrending environment. Okay, we are. But some people will look at this and say maybe we're retesting this to go long. I still like the thought of Bitcoin hitting 30K, but I don't know whether it will or not. You know, in which case, if Bitcoin does move, obviously ETH and all the other altcoins will go with it. But in terms of your setup, I would be looking at here, Martin. That makes sense? I might not be correct, Martin. I might not be correct, but that's what I would be looking at. As I said here, I mean, it does look okay for shorts. I mean, if you get your catalyst at C or potential sometime soon. But that's where my cup with handle would be. I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think on crypto? Do you think we're moving up now? Do you think we're moving down? I mean, it's hard to really say. You'd want a breakthrough here. You'd want some kind of bearish price action, with stocks pushing on a little bit more, you know, certainty, positivity in the markets. But then we still could be within this, right? Could be something like this kind of pattern from here. Still, path of least resistance is still to the downside. Until we get a real push and a breakthrough here, you know, this area, then yeah, okay, I would understand that, but we're not getting that yet. Not getting that. Yeah. The last screen candle is broken structure, so it invalidates my handle after the cup. Okay, fair enough. More sideways. Yeah, I agree, Emir. Patiently waiting for what to do. I haven't bought any more. Just, you know, I did want to get down here, so I haven't bought up any more in terms of crypto. But it still does look good for downside, I have to say. Anyway, we'll see. I guess. We'll see. Broke 280, so it's invalid. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah. Good. I mean, that's the thing with the things you're looking at. You don't always take them, right? So, I mean, ETH can go either way. Same with GU. So, GU, I know Nick, and this is not anything towards you, Nick, but like, I know Aaron wouldn't take this trade if it does come down. If it does, then fine. We just don't take it. You know, I take it out. Perfect. Move on to the next one. It's just how it is. USD Turkish 1 hour up. USD Turkish with that horrible swap. Does it mean you shouldn't be taking it? 4 hours good. 4 hour, nice position there. I can see what you're looking at. Silver, I guess, from this area. Here. Structure. I mean, you could, it doesn't really tag the area, but yeah, you could see it from here, which is okay. Breakthrough, retest, move to the upside. Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that, silver. You just worry about the things like this with USD Turkish and obviously that swap. But in terms of a setup, yeah. Yep, I like that. Going with that trend. Going with the trend. Not extended. Yeah, like that, silver. I like that. 4 hours not bad, you know. 4 hours not bad. If it breaks through, it wouldn't be a breakout. A breakout for me, but it's not bad. Not bad. Yeah, I like that. I agree with that. Yeah, yeah. Dracula cheese structure. Let's see if that's actually real. Sometimes FTMO, I presume it is real, but sometimes FTMO don't have the right thing. So let's have a look at TradingView. USD Turkish. If there's anything else you guys want me to look at, put it in the chat and I'll have a look at it before I pop off. Yeah, see, look. Or maybe, actually, it is right. Where's the lows here? 1406. Yeah, no, it's wrong. 1406. What am I looking at here? Yeah, see, there's something not right there. So from here, absolutely silver. Yeah, like it. So that was wrong. So yeah, that's wrong. This is sometimes where if you get stopped out on things like this, you can go to FTMO and say, what's this? Why is that there and it's not here? It does do that a few times, but not often, not often. So yeah, essentially, I like it. I like it. Let's see what USDZAR is doing. This would be very nice for me if it does decide to come down. I do like it. I do like it. If I can get something out of it, and maybe GU sets up tomorrow, you know, it'll put me right back into the frame of things. So, you know, the risk reward here is good because the breakout retest. Obviously, I sell the candle. So if I can get a kind of, if we can get this to be corrective push, then obviously that would be very good. But, you know, I wish I could tell the market what I wanted to do. Been off the charts for a couple of days now, but it seems the yen pairs keep getting stronger against the yen. The yen pairs keep getting stronger against the yen. Any tips on this? So do you mean, so if we look at AJ. Yeah, I mean, this was maybe people people smarter than us. You think about where the SPX was buying this Aussie yen or kind of commodities New Zealand against the yen down where it was. I mean, you've just kind of got to let it go. You've just kind of got to let it go and find entries. Now that we do have, remember, you think about it from a longer term perspective. If you're looking at entries, you know, buying the Aussie against the yen, it makes sense because of that risk sentiment. And, you know, it's just going with that market. You know, we think about this movement, right? We can correlate that with the SPX. So you're seeing Aussie yen, and we look at the SPX. I mean, quite similar, right? Because there's a bit more risk on. As we're pulling back now, you'd expect a slight pullback because of the extent of that move in the Aussie yen. So this is always a good place to start. The Aussie yen is you know, the kind of foremost risk-on currency in the foremost risk-off currency, obviously. So what would I say in terms of tips? You've just kind of got to let it go. If you're not in on it, you just got to get a let go and look for entries. If you're looking to long it, obviously it's part of your plan. But if you're buying the Aussie yen, it would make sense. Would make sense. But in terms of news, I mean, you're looking out for that Russia-Ukraine stuff. Really, now we've sorted the inflationary pressures. It'll come down. This market, is COVID still there in China? I'm not sure COVID is dictating it as much, but it's obviously it's going to come down to Russia-Ukraine. If there is a ceasefire, which we all hope there is, this may go out with technical analysis a little bit, get very climactic, but yeah, that's why we're seeing that weakness in the yen, because you know, and this is what I was talking to a mate of mine about, and he was like, you know, I'm thinking that this market goes down for quite some time. What? Just from my perspective, and I've talked about this a few times, is I just think we had the drop. You know, it's not, you know, this SPX just doesn't drop and drop and drop forever. You know, what's the longest bear market? I mean, what is the longest bear market that the indexes has? I'll have a Google of that, because usually when it crashes, right, it crashes, but it doesn't prolong. Longest bear markets. I know there was one for a while in like 19 something. Okay, the longest bear market in history lasted 61 months from 1940. Okay. Let's have a see. (2008) 400 days. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay, it's a year. Yeah. 62, 33 days. Okay, maybe I'm talking nonsense then. But if you look at the last two, 2009 and 2020, we're talking 62 days, 33 days, right? And we've had 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. You know, we're having 60, 70 days of a bear market there, technically. So that's why my bias is that it's corrected enough. Just from a personal standpoint, is that, you know, it's not going to drop forever. It's not really how the SPX works. You know, we've seen here COVID drop, bang. You know, so that's what I think. Did anyone put more money in terms of an investment account down here using technical analysis, or were some people waiting? Maybe people haven't set that up yet. It's something I might talk a little bit more about as I go on. You know, if I start to invest, you know, in terms of a longer term play about what I'm doing, I'll put that in as well. It's always good to have that side of thing, and I think it's a must to have that side of things. So for me, thinking that if I can get 9%, 10% a year, if I can build up my investing account to, you know, 1 million, 2 million, I can kind of say, well, maybe I'll make 100 grand, 200 grand from that. From a personal standpoint, it's something, again, trading is great. Trading is first and foremost, but having that extra investment side is certainly a must. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and this is another thing. I'll give you another statistic I heard on the radio. Whether this is true or not, but this is the statistic they said on the business radio channel in Dubai, was that 80% of managed investment accounts lose money. Or, sorry, that's wrong. Not lose money. They don't beat the SPX. 80% of managed investment accounts don't beat the SPX. So people, I know, and it's hard when you put stuff in, it's easy to tinker with it. Like, do I buy gold? Okay, maybe I take my holding out in gold. For me, it's just 50% goes into that index. You know, 5% goes into Bitcoin, 5% goes into ETH, 5% goes into banking, 5% goes into gold, 20% goes into the Qs, and what was the last one? Is that it? 20% goes in, yeah, I think that's it. And that's it. I'm just leaving it. I'm saying, right, that's going to go for the rest of my life. See you later. But yeah, it's something, yeah, okay, maybe I'll do a talk. I've also got a guy, as we do our changes. I know I'm going on a little bit here. This is the last point. This is something for you guys. That's going to come on once we we're rebranding. I'll tell you that we're rebranding, and there's going to be a few things different. So there's a guy that's going to come on hopefully once a month who's an automated. He uses robots, trading robots. It's not a topic that I particularly believe in, but it is a topic that I'm interested in. So I'm going to get him on once a month to talk about the softwares that he uses, performance of those softwares, which I think will be quite interesting on a kind of monthly basis. Again, I'm not into robots at all. I'm very skeptical, longer term, but I think it'd be interesting to have him on. So we're going to try and do a lot of things, not only trading, but, you know, investing and just you know, make everybody here. I'm not saying that you're not, just very financially literate people that I don't know why, but I keep getting such negative comments on my Mamba FX. There's loads of people supporting him. About to ask about robots on Wednesday. Yeah, so I'll let this guy. It won't be probably for another month when everything changes, and everything's not going to change. But when we rebrand and have slightly changes to the company, but he'll start coming on then, so it'll be interesting. I'll let him talk about it. I don't know enough about it. All right, guys. I appreciate you joining. I'll let you type, Martin, before I go off. Remember, it is still a Monday, and we know what Mondays are like. Hopefully this week will be better. And you can get some proper trades. It's some proper trades. Great, no problem, mate. No problem. Appreciate it. Right, guys, have a great day. Have a lovely Monday. And I will see you all tomorrow. Trade safe.